Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Solio Analytics podcast. We are in game week 25, and
I'm losing
the
count.
doubles have been confirmed. Even though Johnny is not very happy that Newcastle are out, but it was
They
pretty
are.
much expected, right?
Yeah, I mean, like we had two heavy favourites coming into these two second legs, and they both won. One of them more convincingly than the other one, but it was pretty close for Arsenal Chelsea. I thought maybe they might have a chance. I didn't hold much hope for Newcastle, but I would like to have held on to that little bit of hope for longer into the game as a fan, ideally. But yes, City Arsenal in the final.
Yeah.
Big
You know,
cup.
when we do these odds of Arsenal 90% to make it and then
Yeah.
Man City 95, there's always people that will come, you guys don't know. Football can football. And they don't show up after, the 90% event does
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
They're like,
or
oh, actually,
I don't know. I feel like whenever we project like clean sheets, like the most likely clean sheet for any specific team in a week is like 40-50%.
is more likely
So
not
more
to
likely
happen
to
than
not
to
happen,
happen.
yeah. So
Exactly.
Arsenal like don't keep a clean sheet against Sunderland. And it's, well, what happened? It's like, well, the more likely thing happened.
Actually, this week they are over 50%.
Are they? Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, a terrible example straight off the bat. But yeah, you get the idea of like
Yeah.
probabilities. Once they collapse into one outcome, then you go. Well, it's hard to assess whether the probability was correct or not because
Yeah.
you only play it once. But yes, nothing for Newcastle, sadly.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, there's a broader topic to be discussed on Newcastle's form in general and
Yeah.
how leaky defensively you guys have become. But
Don't bring this up. Yes,
and
we can
and
discuss it.
and do you know Man United have
are
won
doing
3 in a
really
row?
well.
They're doing
Very
really
good.
well.
And
So
how's FPL going, Praz? How's did a
I
good hit?
scored the highest. I took a
You
hit and I
outscored me.
scored
You
the
did.
highest points
Yeah,
in our Solio
you
league.
did.
So I'm happy. I think
No wins for me. Nothing here. What have we got?
no wins exactly. You cannot. Well, you can use overall rank. I'm still in the
I've
millions.
got lots of transfers too. So
Yeah,
patience,
exactly.
patience.
All right.
But yeah, a good
Fine.
week.
I lose. Yes, it was a good week. Finally, it was one of those weeks where I felt there were a few 50-50s that I was debating on which defender to get. Should I take the transfer? Should I keep Ekitike? And feels like it worked out.
Good.
Not massively, but at least it felt good, actually, after a game week.
It's nice that you have a 50-50 call and the first opportunity it has to pay you back or punish you, and it goes, okay,
You know
you're all right.
the
You got some
FPL
points.
optimized chart?
Yes.
It's been going down like
Have you
like
got
the
a...
Bitcoin, basically.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then this week I can see a little bit of a inflection point. So maybe
For
that continues.
Bitcoin or for...
No, for
Okay,
my own.
No financial advice
Bitcoin's
here.
going down.
I don't...
Exactly.
No, let's not get onto that. Very good. What should
All
we
right,
start with?
so we have a packed agenda. We're going to talk about the doubles and blanks, and we're going to revisit what we know about the future. We will also go into a little bit of doubles beyond what we think will happen in 26 because it's important for triple captaincy. The next turnaround is very short. This game week is obviously Friday. The next one is Tuesday. Whether we pod or not on Monday, we will see. But it's a short turnaround, so we want to spend some time on: are there other options for double game week triple captaincy? Should we be saving the chip, or we should be playing it on Gabriel, now seemingly the only option available? So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about Palmer, because one of the things that the Saka injury does is money is available. Transfers are not as much for other people that are not called Johnny, but for many people, if transfers are, I would argue if you were making a wild card, you could make a case to punt on Palmer. We'll see if that is the case. We'll talk about midfielders. A lot of people, again, because of the Saka injury, they're debating, shall we just, instead of Rice, go for a sexier option in Semenyo or Wirtz or Rogers or Mbumo. There's these popular 8-ish million mids that are coming about that not only save you money from Saka, help you upgrade elsewhere, but gets you a little bit of semi-premium kind of feel. And then we'll talk to bus teams. So that's what we had in mind.
Yes.
Let's talk double game week 26 first, which has now been confirmed.
Yes. So the fixtures that we thought might move, Wolves Arsenal is going to go into game week 26. It actually fits the other side. So game week 26 is a midweek fixture, and then the second half of the double is that other midweek. So we've got the FA Cup fourth round next weekend. So Premier League this weekend, this is the weekend, this is the midweek, this is the weekend, this is the midweek. So we'll have Arsenal playing Brentford away and Wolves away, and Wolves are playing Nottingham Forest away and Arsenal at home, either side. So they both got an FA Cup fourth round fixture in the middle. We had that provisionally announced of it moving forward because this game week in 31 is where the League Cup final is. We now know that Arsenal are in the final. We know that Man City are also in the final, but their game against Crystal Palace can't come forward, as we explained before, because Crystal Palace are still in the Conference League in the playoffs. So there's no midweek free here for them to put it into, and they can't bring it forward into any other midweeks because they might be in the last 16. We don't know exactly. So there's no spot available. It's going to have to go to later. So for now, in the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks, game week 31 is 7 weeks away, I think, we've got 1 confirmed double and 2 confirmed blanks. Well, we say confirmed blanks. Arsenal Wolves is a blank because we know where it's going. There is a small chance that Crystal Palace Man City could actually fit in this period after the international break that's still in game week 31. It was mentioned
if
last
they're out
season.
of the FA Cup.
Well, if they're out of the FA Cup, it could fit because Palace are already out. So the FA Cup quarter-final is the first week after the break. But if Man City are actually out of the Champions League and Palace are out of the Conference League, they'd have to both be out. Then this midweek of the Champions League quarter-final first legs would also be available. And it's probably more likely, they're not likely to put it in this week in general, and they might well be forced not to, but they could put it in this midweek in 31. If Man City go out of the Champions League before the quarterfinals, if Crystal Palace go out of the Conference League before the quarterfinals, and they decide to put it in there, then there's a free spot for it, technically.
But just playing devil's advocate,
Yes.
why? Like, they have committed not to play games during the European midweeks, and indeed they have said we won't play games during the FA Cup weekends.
Yeah. So they did play Newcastle Palace in a Champions League midweek last year when they didn't need to. So this is more covering the fact that there's a small chance that
There's a
Palace
chance,
might
okay.
be. I don't think
Because
that's
if
where
City
it's
are
likely
not
to
in
go.
Europe, because that's the scenario we're in,
Yes.
then they have lots of time.
There's
like
loads of
33 is
space.
free,
Yeah,
36 is free, 37 is free.
But 31 is technically still free. So it was to raise the possibility of that. I know James from Planet FPL has talked about it fitting on that quarterfinal weekend for the FA Cup. But actually, that seems less likely. They have made more of a commitment not to clash with the FA Cup. So we'll see.
Okay.
But technically not a blank. Just to confuse people.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, you can pretty much assume it's a blank. For Wolves, Arsenal, Man City, and Crystal Palace now is confirmation.
Excellent. So let me just talk about then what happens in the future as a summary. So if you roll forward the Excel sheet, essentially what we know is that Game Week 33 is a completely free midweek. What we know is Game Week 34 clashes with the FA Cup semi-final. So there's going to be blanks in the FA Cup semi-final. Again, assuming those teams are Premier League teams, they are not. They don't have a free midweek in Europe. So there are obviously caveats to 34 as well. But let's assume that 34 is going to be a blank game week that will be caused by the FA Cup semi-finals. Those fixtures could go into 33 as well.
Yes.
So is there a scenario where 33 is the only double that is left for the rest of the season?
It's other than the Newcastle Palace game going into game week 32 last year, which was the Champions League quarter-final midweek. That's what happened last year. Because we have these 2 free midweeks. We have the midweek free in game week 33, and we have the midweek free in game week 36, which might be used for the game week 37. There is a game week 37 clash of sorts in that it's the FA Cup final and the Europa League final. But last year, they moved the FA Cup finalists matches from the game week 37 midweek weekend to the game week 37 midweek. So it just stayed in the same week. So if you remember, it was on the Tuesday. I think Wolves and Wolves played Man City on the Tuesday, and Palace played somebody else. Or it might have been Palace Wolves. Anyway, they stayed in the same game week. But yeah, if we get Villa getting to the final, then that might have to force it into 36. So these ones in 34, generally we expect in 33 or 36. It kind of depends on what they do each year. But last year we saw them come into 33. So we saw 2 of them come to 33, and the third one actually stayed in 34 because Forest and Brentford weren't in Europe, and there was a TV clash for 33. I think Forest had been picked for the Monday. So in terms of announcement times from this FA Cup quarter-final, when we will know the semi-finalists, we've actually got 1 week fewer than we did last year. So the chance of them maybe putting them back into 36 rather than bringing them forward to 33 as they did before is probably slightly higher than it was last year. So I think we probably still expect them into 33. So the most likely scenario is probably Man City Palace comes into game week 33, and then any fixtures from game week 34 that are a clash also come into 33. But obviously, Man City might have that clash, and they can't have both of them in 33. So that would then have to go into 36, or if they're out of the semi-finals, it can go into 34. So the chance of 33 being the only remaining double, apart from 26, basically relies on Man City. Well, there's a few things that force it to not be, essentially, is kind of framing it the other way. Is if Man City make the FA Cup semi-finals, or Burnley, their fixture, one of them, Man City more likely to, and they keep progressing in Europe, then there's going to be no space but to put one of them in 33 and one of them in 36. So that would mean there's more than one double. The other way that might happen is if Villa make the Europa League final and Villa or Liverpool make the FA Cup final. So that's going to have to force Villa-Liverpool out of 37 into 36 because they can't play it here. And that would mean that Liverpool and or Villa, whoever made the final, has also made the semi-finals of the FA Cup. So that would have to move into 33, presumably. It could end up going back into 34 because, I guess if Liverpool had made the FA Cup final and they're out of Europe, Liverpool Palace might fit in 34, but it would likely go into 33. But that gets more confusing because Liverpool actually play Palace in 34. So that would go into 33, and then Man City Palace would have to go somewhere else, and gets a bit more complicated. They could put Liverpool Palace into the 37 midweek. There's all sorts of permutations. But yes, we're expecting 33 should be a blank. 36 might be a blank. There's also...
Double.
Double. Correct. Not blanks. 34 is the blank. There's a small chance, just to cover bases here, that game week 26 is the only double. And actually we get no more doubles. So if we have Man City Palace into game week 31, as I said before, and the 4 teams in the FA Cup semi-finals are all not in the Premier League, or they're Premier League teams with, Fulham make it and they're not in Europe, and Fulham Villa moves to game week 34 midweek, then we'd have nothing. We'd have no blanks. We'd have no doubles. Not likely, but technically still possible. But this is the only double. Be a bit of sad state of affairs if that's it. There's nothing else. But
of course, you've used your free hit chip. You'll be talking about these scenarios.
I'm getting very excited about the most boring scenarios.
If you're talking about tail scenarios, let me also tell everyone there's a scenario which is you get a double in 33, double in 36, double in 37, and a blank in 34. Also a scenario.
Yes, very true. Yeah, I'm getting excited the wrong way. Played my chips. But so a 33 could be pretty big. So actually, if you get 4 semi-finalists from the Premier League who are all from different Game Week 34 fixtures, you're going to get 4 fixtures moving out. The likeliest ones of those are... actually, I can bring those
You
up.
have them up, right?
I have them here, so the likeliest ones. So what I've done here is I've simulated the FA Cup, basically, using our Solio team strengths. Because what actually this does is it's quite interesting as we see that Brighton Chelsea is more likely to be a blank than Liverpool Crystal Palace, even though maybe Liverpool are more likely to make the semis than either Brighton or Chelsea, but they're both still in the cup. So there's 2 ways that it can be a blank. So Arsenal, Newcastle, Burnley, Man City, Brighton, Chelsea, maybe Liverpool, Palace, maybe Fulham, Villa. They've all got a team in Europe. So they might all have to fit into 33 rather than fitting in 34 from teams making the semi-finals. So you could get 4 fixtures going into game week 33. I think you could get 5, technically, if Burnley, Man City isn't one of them. If you had Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, Chelsea, Fulham, Villa, and Man United, Brentford, they all came into 33, along with City Palace, because you couldn't have Liverpool Palace or Burnley City in that case. You'd have 5 doubles. Again, tail scenario. I think 5's unlikely. We're probably expecting 3 or 4. But I'd say 2 is much more likely than 5. I don't know. So it's going to be a bigger double, most likely. But we also know that they might split them. They might put 1 in 33 and 1 in 34 and 1 in 36. And, we are guesstimating where we're going to put them.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
complex.
what you have mentioned is information will come by 28. And I mean, for me, simplistically thinking, I expect Man City to continue progressing in Europe.
Yeah.
Man City are already through to the final. So all you're saying is, if you think Man City reach the semi-final of the FA Cup, then there's a decent likelihood that they get another double. Not guaranteed.
Yes.
None of these things
on top
are guaranteed.
of the Man City Palace
On top
one.
of the double.
Yeah. They'd have 2 doubles.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we have the triple captaincy debate now, where we have a confirmed double for a Gabriel who has 2 fixtures, who will probably, or has a chance for DEFCON, has got clean sheet potential, he can score goals, all of the package, but he's a defender and people are uncomfortable triple captaining defenders.
Maybe.
And then you add the fact that he has a game in the middle of the double where maybe he picks up an injury. So there's many reasons not to do it. But the reason to do it is to say, you get it, he's going to play both games, he's fit, Arsenal have all to fight for. Maybe Haaland gets his double in 36, but what is the state of the league by then? Is he even fit by then? So these are like the pros and cons where what people are debating outside of expected points. Because we can't really predict expected points in 36 yet, right? We don't know who that double will be for.
Or I mean, Haaland might be injured and Marmoush is definitely going to play both of them. And then that's, I think it was last year people played a lot of them on Marmoush or Saka. And neither of them played both games. Blanked. I can't remember exactly what it was, but didn't do that well. So in previous years, we've basically waited until Haaland's had a double game week and then played it the first time he had one. Because we don't know if there was going to be another one. Whereas now he doesn't have one yet, but we're expecting 1, maybe 2 later. But if he has 1, then it's probably when you might want a bench boost. So do you save it for another one? If your friends all play it in double game week on Arsenal and you save it and have to use it on a single game week in game week 37, you feel like you've lost out. Even if I think Arsenal might even play Burnley that week, but then is Saka going to play it? Is that actually a good opportunity, etc., etc.? So yeah, there's a lot to balance between playing it now. I think it depends how unhappy you'd be if you had to play it on a single game week later on, in terms of a double game week now. But what are you?
Where are you with it?
No,
I asked you first.
You go. Well, as someone who's very happy to do some odd things, such as play their free hit in a random game week, then I think Gabriel's going to be really popular. Arsenal defence are going to be really popular. I think now that Saka's out, that I can't really get somewhere with Saka triple captain appeal to me, because he's not as well owned and people are sort of doubting him, and I still think he looks pretty good for playing those 2 games before he got injured. If Chelsea had gone through, I think something like an Illiman and DI triple captain would have been nice, because it's actually projecting about as well as Gabriel is now, but I think people wouldn't want to do it. So I quite like the idea still of playing my triple captain in a week where that isn't the most popular one. And I think I'm willing to bet that I maybe predict a couple of points worse in the hope that, if I predict a couple of points worth on my triple captain, but it's someone quite different, then I'm happy to pay that price. Whereas I think some people wouldn't be. They want to get it done. They want to get it played well, and not risk playing it poorly, if that makes sense. Because there's a high chance that you could end up playing it on, I don't know, Armour in a single game week in game week 36 or something, which is okay. But
it's fine. I mean, we did it earlier this season with varying degrees of success, but it can work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a case of people are getting itchy with 4 chips or 3 main chips, and they're now seeing that there's potentially only 2 doubles and a blank. That's a possible scenario, and so they want to allocate each chip to each double. And so that's the thinking. And yeah, where I am, probably gonna play it, likely to play it.
I see very little issue with playing it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't dissuade anyone from doing so.
I mean, you're talking Arsenal, right? And you're saying you're in a world of defensive contributions where Gabriel is even accumulating DEFCON points. Maybe not against Wolves, but maybe against the Brentfords of this world. You add to this layers like Sade's out for that fixture as well, so the defense is even better, or Brentford is even
Sure,
weaker. So it just sort of adds up. He's fit. And I would have captained Saka, by the way, for sure, and I wouldn't have triple captained him. So if Saka, this is how sort of sliding doors FPL is, right? That I was very ready, for the reasons that you mentioned, to take on Gabriel captaincy / triple captaincy with the Saka captaincy. But now I'm in a world where I'm like, I'm not going to captain Rice. I'm not going to captain Raya.
No?
So if I am captaining Gabriel, then why not just triple captain and go for it and, hope to get lucky with a goal kind of thing. But I do get it that you are going with the crowd a little bit in terms of that's when everybody else is going to do it.
The Arsenal defense is also very highly owned. So actually the correlation with lots of other assets. So if people have if you have Gabriel and Rice and I guess you might not have another attacker. I was trying to think of a world where you only had one defender. You'd probably get another one because that's where the better assets are. Because you can't go Gabriel, Saka, Rice. Right. Rice, Madueke, Gabriel. Anyway, are you factoring in the fact that you might have, let's say you had Raya, Gabriel, Timber, and triple captain Gabriel? That's five times the clean sheet points, and they all come together. Whereas most people are going to have 2 or 3. Would you factor that into your decision at all, or would it be sort of irrespective of your other Arsenal assets that you have?
I try not to. Like on the triple captaincy itself, right? I'm breaking down my decisions into the following, where my 3 are my 3 now. I've made my bed with them. I've made the transfer, in fact, and I'll have 2 defenders, and I can't change that. Second, Gabriel is going to be my captain because he's the safest for minutes and I trust him most on expected points. Then the third decision isn't about Game Week 26. The third decision is about Gabriel in 26 versus somebody else. Like you mentioned, you're willing to give up 2 points to someone else in a single game week. That's fair enough. But I'm also thinking, look, to be realistic here, it also depends on your goals, right? I am still competing with my work mini league colleagues who are still without Bruno Fernandes. So, I mean, this is sad, but it's true.
Sure.
So they are not going to have triple Arsenal defense. They're not going to have 5 Arsenal defenders. So I'm just thinking I will take the points, and if I do get lucky with the triple captaincy, I'll have other chips to play in other weeks. I can react. A free hit and a wild card in your pocket means you can react to any scenarios in the doubles.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And triple captaincy is a one-off chip. So I don't mind playing it early, but I get what you're trying to say as well with using it as a little bit of a nitro boost.
Because I think in more recent seasons, I definitely was just of the opinion that I just wanted to get it played on someone sufficiently good. And I think there was even there might have been a week where we knew we had 2 City double game weeks in the space of about 4 weeks. But Haaland was definitely fit for this one, and he had some injury issues, so he might not be available for the next one. I can't remember exactly there was some doubt over the second double game week, but the fixtures looked slightly better. So a lot of people played it in the first one, even though the fixtures were like Arsenal away and Spurs away or something. And then people played it in the later one, and I think he missed a penalty in the later one and got subbed off at half-time or something. So actually the first one played better, even though he was fit for the second one, and had he played the whole games, he would have been better. And I played it first. I was like, I just want to get this played. I think it'd be safer to do that. Whereas I think that more recently, I've been much happier to kind of go, okay, like it's only, unless we get some crazy double game week that everyone's playing, I guess it's this Burnley City one. Like if you get Burnley City in game week 36 and Haaland's fully fit and everyone's triple captaining and I'm not, then I feel like, okay, that's like, in terms of magnitude of projected points, in our model, we'll be projecting maybe 13, 14 points total, and I'll have played it on Gabriel for about 10. So there's a big gap, it's like 4 or 5 points. Whereas if I play on Gabriel now, and the opportunities I would have had later is projecting a very good player in a single fixture, that's probably going to be like 7 or 8. So my worst case scenario in terms of raw projected points loss is like 2 or 3 points. And I think I've been much more flexible with that in recent years. Whereas before I would have seen that as like, I can't give that much up. But actually that much just gets given up by getting the bench order wrong or captaining the player and missing the team leak and all sorts of just, stuff out of my control. So not that I shouldn't care about it, but I think, I'm probably also going to only have 2 defenders. I have also bought Rice early.
Nice.
So I think, I don't think it's something that is like, I might change my mind by the time I get there. But for now, I think I'm willing to bet that the worst case scenario of playing it later is actually not that bad. Whereas
I'm with you. I'll just
is better.
I'll make one more point. That people are happy to say now that they can triple captain Gabriel. Trust me when I say this. There's people out there who've never even captained a defender. I was talking to Zoff today on the wire.
Yeah.
He's never in his life captained a defender, let alone triple captain a defender.
Oh, right, okay.
So there's going to be a huge mass of people that are just going to flat out refuse that this is not how FPL works. Like you cannot.
I'm sure I've captained a goalkeeper before.
I mean, we all did Duffy, didn't we? I'm sure you did Duffy.
Yeah, I must have done
Duffy captain.
Sure.
After triple captain Trippier, I think 2 times. Trent once. Duffy.
I mean, people were talking about Gabriel as a captaincy option when he started scoring loads of goals in like 8. But like going back to, there was a point where even when Gabriel wasn't projecting as highly as Haaland, people were like, "Oh, is Gabriel a captaincy option?" And it's a different set of people, but like, I don't think
they say it.
Yes,
but
I don't know.
It's very different doing it, and it's whole different thing. Triple captaining him, like
it is, yeah.
If he concedes against Sunderland this week, I'm telling you, his EO will be under 200.
That's true. I forgot about the previous week having a big effect on.
Yeah. So I think these things matter, right? So when we are saying, ultimately, your logic is let's keep his. If his EO is too high, then I'm not interested. I'm willing to bet that if he concedes against Sunderland, his EO will be 170, 180 max.
Ooh, could tempt me.
So, yeah.
All right. Come on, Brian Brobby.
All right. Exactly. Let's do that. Who cares about our double defense? We want a low EO triple captain.
I want a Sunderland goal the week before. So, are we triple captaining Wolves players? And then we look to those. I'm not even going to buy.
I mean, we might as well talk about it. Is it worth buying a Wolves player now? Because you're buying them, and then you have to deal with them.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 transfers to get a Wolves guy.
I think for most people, because of the price range that they're in, I think for most people, actually, unless you're definitely free hitting in 31, a player of that price who plays in 31 rather than over, like, so that you can bench a Haaland, over a double game week Wolves player playing over one of your single game week players. Like the upgrade in 31 is bigger than the upgrade in 26. You'd probably rather buy someone who has the game at 31 fixture. I think if you're like neither someone in that price range or the spot. But I don't know. Maybe Hwang Hee-chan for someone who's feeling adventurous would be my pick of the bunch. But
some people with 4-5 transfers maybe, but I don't see it for.
If you need to move, I think in some cases there was places where I was like gonna move Raya into Rice, or I had a goalkeeper issue, so I was gonna get Jose Sarr. And then use the Arsenal player somewhere else. So if you've got a goalkeeper problem, I think Jose Sarr would. Now that
Dubravka to Sarr or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Raya as your keeper.
Yeah, something like that. But generally, I don't know. Joao Gomez, Defcons, both games, probably. No, don't know.
No.
We'll see.
Let's go to Arsenal then. We have been talking Arsenal a lot, but people are debating now with the Saka injury a third Arsenal defender. So let's assume they have either Raya and Gabriel, or Gabriel and Timber, and they're now debating that they want to get a third guy. There's obviously 2 routes there. You can just do Saka to Rice, or you can do Saka to one of these sexy midfielders who we will talk about, and then you do one of your dud defenders, let's say like Dorgu, to another Arsenal defender to go for the triple up. So what are we projecting? What are our thoughts for triple Arsenal defense versus Rice?
So we've actually got Calafiori slightly higher than Saliba right now. I think that's with some optimistic Min's expectations of him
Minutes.
coming back in over Hincapié now that he's available, which actually, Hincapié has played quite well. I don't know if he'll necessarily play all of them. So yeah, I think the triple defense. I mean, it's Gabriel and Timber. They're the top two. With Rice. I think the comparison for more people, Rice is going to project more points, like raw points, than one of the defenders.
And he'll save a transfer
because they don't have enough attacking threat. The Timber or Gabriel do, and saves a transfer if you've got a Saka issue, you can go straight to him. But I think the question is more to do with like the other pairings. So is there a midfielder that you want? So do you want an Mboma or a Semenyo or something like that? And if you have a defender issue and you don't fancy like a Joachim Anderson or a Senesi, or maybe you want to get rid of Virgil van Dijk or something like that, then the Arsenal defenders are solid. So they might solve a problem there and allow you to get from Saka to a midfielder that you like. So I think, Rice is generally better than the defender from the raw projected points point of view. But again, it's the question we had with Raya and Gabriel or Raya and Timber before is like, do you get, do you Kelleher and Gabriel or Kelleher and Timber versus Tarkowski and Raya and all these different pairings? So I think that's more of the question, as well as resources. Like if you've got 5 transfers and you have 2 problems you want to fix and you want to use 2 of them, great. But if it's going to cost you a hit to do this swap, I think Rice is perfectly good. I think some people have been. He has blanked a few weeks in a row, but people have gone a little bit colder on Rice, and I think that's maybe a bit unfair. I think he is still very good, and has a good share of the set pieces. He plays a lot, AFCONs. He kind of has roots to points. That's the cliche.
I mean, minutes, right?
Say,
Last night.
Yeah, minutes mostly.
He got that assist in the 97th minute or whatever it was because he was still on the pitch and he was still doing, doing things. That's what we want. We want our players to do things. But, I mean, my simplistic way of thinking about it is if you have 2 or more transfers and you have a defender that you want to get rid of and there's a lot of ands here, you have Raya and Gabriel combination and you don't have Timber, then I think it's worth looking at that double move, getting a midfielder that you like and getting Timber for a defender that you don't like. If you have 1 free transfer, I wouldn't bother. I would just go straight to Rice. Like, it's not worth a hit. And you want that player, you want to grab that EV this week, right? Because it's Sunderland at home.
Yeah,
so
fixed it now.
If you were trying to do it in a 2 move, let's say you want to say, I want to get Mbeumo this week and then Timber next week, you've lost out Sunderland at home as well. So again, in that case, I would say just get Rice. In a scenario where you have Timber and Gabriel combination, then I think I wouldn't even bother. I would get Rice anyway. Because I don't think Saliba or Raya are worth a double transfer because they're not projecting as many points. Like 4 points on average for Raya or Saliba is 4.3. I bet if you go to other defenders, if you look at Anderson, if you look at Tarkowski, they will be similar.
So if I go to the defenders, where's Saliba? He's got a double in the blank. But yeah, he's behind Joachim Anderson. He's behind Senesi. He's next to Collins and Tarkowski and all these other different options.
So for me, that's my simplistic way of thinking about it. If you can get it for Timber and you have transfers, you can do it this week, go for it. Like if you think that he starts all 3, which is the Sunderland game and the double. But otherwise, Rice is fine. Like this is just the simple way because there's not so much in it that I was getting questions like which one is more essential. Like they're both fine. Like they're both okay.
It feels like a sort of unsatisfying answer to be like, well, they're both good. Just like whichever one suits your team better.
Exactly.
And if you can do either of them, then whichever one you prefer. I feel like there isn't really a this one's better. This is the answer. You must get onto that one. Exactly. I guess maybe if you had say Raya, Timber, Saka, then I think getting to Gabriel is probably going to be worth it over going straight to Rice if you can. Because Gabriel has got this great attacking threat and can do the DEFCONs and everything. I know Timber's looking really good as well, but I think Gabriel's only one where I'd go, I do really want to kind of move my Arsenal slot into defence to pick him up. Which I know some people have been on this. Like, I have Raya, I have Timber, I have Saka. Like, how do I get to Gabriel? I can't.
They've been bailed out.
Can I do Timber to Gabriel? That's not really a nice move. Can I sell Saka? And now that he's injured, I think you can. So yeah, I think there's both are good. Do what you want.
Yeah,
advice.
But let's just, as part of this, can we just go to midfielders for a second and let's just finish that debate on midfielders.
Bring this one up.
Yeah. So these are the popular dudes like Mbumo, Semenyo, Wirtz, and Rogers. Of course, Semenyo out of them is the one that will blank in 31 and has Liverpool away this week. But between that, has terrific fixtures. Rogers is, I would argue, the most sort of the data is a little bit all right, but is probably the best minutes out of all of them. Yeah, and the best minutes.
Yeah, probably. I think Semenyo and Wirtz, I'm pretty hot on their minutes specifically, but like if they suddenly were just not being picked for some reason, then it would be like, okay, well, if Emery goes and drops Rodgers, you go, what on earth is he doing? Whereas if Pep drops Semenyo for a game or Slot drops Wirtz for a game, you go, oh, I thought he was playing well, but you don't question what on earth is he doing. Whereas Rodgers on the bench would be very confusing. So yeah, I think probably a bit higher. There's also we don't know who's taking the Villa penalties. I think people are hotter on Douglas Luiz taking them now that he's back, but Rodgers might want to take it. It doesn't. Yeah, it might not play the whole game. Don't know. We don't know yet. So there's he could be a bit better. And also we've got them very close here. We've got projected goals and assists over the next 6 weeks on screen. And yeah, Semenyo is a bit more goals, Wirtz is a bit more assists, and Bomo are in the middle, and Rodgers is kind of just a bit below them in all metrics. But
they're making their own blob.
Yeah, but he's close. I think anyone in this region, I think it's Morgan Gibbs-White who's right behind Rodgers as well, if you want some sort of outside shouts. And Enzo's there, Enzo Fernandez, Gakpo, Buendia is in there, he's quite cheap. Ismail Assar, there's kind of another blob of players just below that who are a little bit cheaper. If you've got the money, Cole Palmer interest you?
Well, this was a debate. This was a discussion we were going to have as well, right? I mean,
I've jumped ahead. Sorry.
No. Let's do it. So if you go to that Lego Mane chart,
yes.
The thinking is, I think after the last two results, right? The last two results being them beating Napoli and them losing to Arsenal. What that has meant is that their calendar has opened up a lot more than people were fearing. So they don't have those midweeks, they are not playing in the Champions League knockouts, and they don't have a double. So what this means is that Palmer being on the bench against Arsenal, good shout that he starts this weekend against Wolves. The problem is, will he start against Leeds, which is 3 days after? That's the big issue. Because after that, I think there's no issue with him starting Burnley at home, which is game week 27. And after that, it's rubbish fixtures again.
Yeah, so the crunch is right now, which is Wolves on Saturday, Leeds on Tuesday, both in the Premier League, and then Hull in the FA Cup on the Friday. But you'd imagine that's just one. They've got a big enough squad to just not play him in that one. So yeah, Wolves and Leeds, Saturday, Tuesday turnaround. Doable, but I don't think
it's doable.
I don't think he's done that yet since he's come back, unless I'm wrong. He played 2 in a week?
During Christmas, I think he did play.
Oh, he did? Okay,
yeah.
But that's the danger one, yeah. But yeah, Burnley's got, 5-6 days either side. That's loads of time.
He's arguably captainable against Burnley if you get there. So, I don't know. What is our minutes projection on Solio? Should we have a look?
Yes, I believe we've got him on... let me go and find Palmer. This.
He looks way down. This is not a good sign. Oh no, these are defenders.
He's not. Yeah, he's not on the defender charts. About 73 minutes per game. So about 73 minutes a game. So we've got him pretty unlikely to play the full game, but fairly likely to start most of them. But yeah, you can see in game week 27, he's 6 points. I guess that's probably up there for captaincy. Haaland. Haaland plays Newcastle.
He's playing Fulham, isn't he? Oh, he's playing Newcastle. The leaky Newcastle. Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the pod.
We skipped over that one. Yeah, maybe Marmoush will
By the
play.
way, that
Suits it.
fixture, Haaland's playing Newcastle in between their two.
Karabakh games. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
Yes.
a good
So
time.
is that prime time for a Marmoush start? Maybe again. Seems to like playing Newcastle.
They have a free midweek.
Yeah. I
I
know.
doubt it. So
Yeah. We'll see. But yes. Yeah.
you're
So
thinking of Palmer, aren't you? Are you getting Palmer?
probably not. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But he's tempting. I think I've got different ideas of what to do with the money. I would buy Palmer. I think I'll have Palmer in some other games, some other formats.
Course.
He's definitely enticing, but I think it doesn't make sense for my team based on. Well, we'll get onto it later, but based on having played my free hit and chip strategy and such.
Yeah. I think the way the squads will emerge with the Saka money is that people will just spread it a little because you're also need to start planning for 31 if you are one of those that are looking to play through it.
Let's spoil it. This is my big team reveal. You've done it already. Yes.
Well, it's the sensible thing,
know,
right?
I
So
know.
you want to you don't want to have your 4 million defenders, you don't want to have your Giwis and whatever. You ultimately want to bring those spots up because you don't want to carry those slots. You want to carry a Haaland and a Gabriel probably through 31. So
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the thinking. So for neither of us, it's an option. But I do think that I'd be very tempted if it was a 3-week game. It only 25, 26, 27. All that matters is those 3 weeks. I think he's a good shout. But then transfers are expensive. Money matters, and
depends
it's okay also not to go there.
But then
because you can't captain him any of those weeks, or you can in 27, but not in 25 and 26.
Oh no, because the double. I was like, 26 is okay, but no, he's there.
Yeah.
Probably going to captain Gabriel. Most people. What do you want to do next?
Let's go to teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, or shall I go?
Well, I've done my move, and that was my only free transfer, so I have nothing else to do.
Okay.
Unless there's an injury, so mine is going to be quick.
This is your team.
Mine.
You've done Saka to Rice.
Yes, I have.
That's my guess.
That is correct, and there's no benching dilemma either. When you have a,
you sure you're not playing Alderete?
I am not playing Alderete. Did you see you had Alderete? Did you see that chance? Which he had 2 yards out, which was offside, but he didn't know he was offside. And
Oh,
he
really?
missed.
I didn't actually watch the game.
And I had it on mute, so I didn't realize that the whistle has gone, and I just saw it, and I was like, "That's Alderete. He's just missed from 2 yards." So I lost it, and then I turned the volume on, and then I was okay. It was offside. It's fine. I don't need to overreact here. So
well, we got the clean sheet finally, but.
Got the clean sheet, but not the assist. Every other defender either got an assist or DEFCON, but that's how we roll.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was deciding between him and Dan Ballard, and Dan Ballard's outscored him by like 5-6 points in that 3-game spell. But so be it. It does okay. Yes, but you're not playing against
Coming
Arsenal.
back to the team. Yeah, coming back to the team. So Raya, my hero Hill, who got me DEFCON and clean sheet last week. Gabriel, Van Dijk, and Anderson. So happy to play Anderson this week. I don't know, Van Dijk is projecting fairly... Actually, he's playing City, it's fine. Hill is projecting fairly low for me. Like, I think Villa are a little bit goal shy. His DEFCON numbers are pretty good. So maybe they come up the longer he plays.
I'd be happy to play Hill, yeah.
Because he's averaging something like 11 DEFCON in the last 7 game weeks per 90.
Did you say he hit it before Senesi did? Or was that the other way around?
In the other games,
but the race to the DEFCONs, but
in this one, Senesi hit it first.
Oh, I see.
In fact, Hill got it with the last kick.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was on 9, and he missed one tackle, got a yellow for it, and I'm like, he would have got a DEFCON. Instead, he's got a yellow. So that's
swing.
like 3 points gone.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting his DEFCON. So anyway, Hill looks good for me as long as his minutes hold up all right. And then midfield I'm happy with as well. Mbumo, Enzo, Bruno and Rice, and then Ekitike and Haaland. Suddenly Ekitike has become the darling. People want to hold Ekitike rather than selling him. And his minutes look good as well, right? Because Liverpool have also qualified, so they won't have those knockouts games in the Champions League.
Yep.
So as long as they don't have the fixture crunch, I think his minutes are okay. So I think he's a keep as well. So
just plays as many as he's fit and available for, really. I think. Yeah. I mean, they don't really have, without Isak, they don't have another number 9. So I think that's what Slot was saying, is like, they need to protect him because they don't have another one, but he's proven very good. So if he's...
And they've almost lost another number 10 because of losing the right back, because Szoboszlai is
Yeah.
needed there. Whether that's the whole game or at the last 30 minutes of a game, but that's more reason for him to sort of either play the full game or
Yes.
not get that early sub. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's maybe me being a little bit more optimistic than I need to. But the thinking is Ekitike again for the next 2 weeks. Thiago's playing Newcastle away and Arsenal at home, so I'm happy to take him on. And then the plan in 3 weeks actually would be to use this money that I've just released and take Obi right up to Thiago. I think that's the
I
plan.
see you got 2.8 in the bank. So what's the sort of macro plan over the next 6-7 weeks? Is it just keep rolling? Is it roll then? You said Obi to Thiago when
Obi to
Brentford get the
Thiago.
fixtures?
Yeah, so in Game Week 27 would be Obi to Thiago.
Once he's dropped
At
in
some
price.
point, if he's dropped 0.1 in price,
He'll drop,
and of
yeah.
course he's going to play Arsenal, so he'll drop. So that's the that's the
owners.
thinking. Exactly, they will sell before the great fixture, and
No, I
we will
won't.
be there to pick them up. Then Rice and Enzo are the two spots that I'm looking to move on as well in the future. Rice because of the blank, and Enzo because after the next 3 I don't need him. And the guys I like are Tavernier, I like Wilson, I like Rogers, I like did I say Wilson? Shade, Otara.
Yes, one step back.
So
Yeah.
these guys are all with the view of dead ending the team to Game Week 31. All have good fixtures in Game Week 31, but that's really it. Like I'm not looking to move this defense necessarily now. All these guys apart from Gabriel play in Game Week 31. As long as Hill's minutes hold up, then
I guess
pretty
once you
much
get to
not
31,
make too many
you're.
transfers.
Well, I mean, Potts will be starting, but you've got transfers to use by then.
Yeah.
So you move Rice on, and yeah, you can play Ekitike, Thiago, Mbomo, Virgil. Even Alderete's fixture is okay. If he can get a chance like that again against the leaky Newcastle defence. Let's see. But yeah, that's okay.
I might move him on. Alderete might become Collins.
Sure, yeah, if there's a bit money free.
Yeah.
And then carry all your chips through to 32 and decide then. Is that the plan? Well,
Yes.
apart from triple captain, maybe that's the easiest one to
Correct.
play whenever.
Wildcard 32, bench boost 33. With a bunch of DEFCON monsters, get 150 point score in Game Week 33.
150. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, 30 players. If you do get 15 doublers, that's
A lot.
that's like how many DEFCON points is that? That's like 20 points in DEFCONs.
Yeah.
If you get there. So yeah, it's doable.
Who are the DEFCON forwards are you picking up? Bowen? He does it
Bowen?
once. Yeah. Did it once. Has anyone else done it? I feel like
No, I don't
Tolu got
think so.
really close. Tolu from Wolves, he got like 11 one game randomly, but not for any good
Bowen
reason.
was close again, I think, in another.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah.
exciting. Well, that will segue nicely onto my potential plans, which might involve Bowen. Let me just load my team up. So that's not my team. This is my base team. No, it's not. That's your team.
That's just one free transfer. That's not possible. There you go. 5 free transfers.
There it
Of course,
is.
That's your team.
Tech
Yeah.
issues. Yeah, 5 transfers. So I have actually already done Saka to Rice.
Okay.
Because Saka was projected to drop in price, and then he didn't. So maybe he'll do it tonight. But
Well, by the time people are listening to it, he has.
yes. Well, hopefully. Otherwise, I've been very early for no good reason. But I'd done enough solving that I think I was like pretty set on. Actually, I've got Alderete and Mukiele to move on. Alderete definitely, because he's not very useful to me right now. Mukiele could stay for a bit longer for some of the fixtures later, but I think I'm happy to move them both on now. They've got some tough fixtures and I can beef my defence up. But I don't feel like I want to get to Timber from them. I think like Anderson, Chalobah, Senesi, Collins, and a bit further down the line, like there's all these guys who are actually quite interesting to me. Whereas I feel like I'm not super excited by some of the mids, or certainly in my price range. I think like your Mbomo and your Semenyo and these guys who are a bit more expensive are actually quite nice. But based on the direction I want to take with the team, then I think putting Rice in as the midfielder actually suits me pretty well. So I've got Raya, happy with, Gabriel, happy with, Virgil. I'll probably try and bench him this week based on the transfers I'll use, but happy to keep him longer term. Lacroix as well, another one who, well, Palace aren't doing super well, but he's got a few nice fixtures, and then he's got the blank in 31, so probably would sell him at some point, but would quite like to have him for, I think they play Wolves and Burnley back to back, or might be Sunderland in one of them. Anderson, very happy with Ellie Anderson, getting lots of points, getting these 7-point blanks now. What a boy. Bruno Fernandes, very happy. He'll be the captain. We didn't touch on captaincy on yours, but I assume
I
Bruno.
think it's obvious captaincy.
Fairly clear, yeah. Szoboszlai was someone I had planned to move on around now, but I think actually Liverpool have got some okay fixtures a bit later on, and I know he might be having this right back share, but I think if I want to build a good squad out, he's a very robust player. He's going to play 90 minutes, and he's better and worse depending on how the team is setting up. And obviously, you'd rather have him in the better positions, but I don't think he's a big problem. So
he's not a problem, yeah.
So I might actually start filling my squad with people like that who will let me roll. So I've bought Rice because he fitted. I've still got Phil Foden, who was going to just get eated out today, but Bernardo Silva injured, not in the squad. So some people are saying Phil Foden might be back. And I hope he isn't, because I was very happy to sell him. I almost don't want him to be. I'm like, I wanted him to go. So I think I probably need the funds from him as well. Like, I've got 3.4 now from Saka to Rice. Foden's probably going to go. Thiago, I can hold. I can bench him in some double fixtures. Haaland's good. Dubravka, I think it's pretty good. Just to keep through, he's got an okay fixture in 31. He's also got, if Man City Palace needs to go to 36 and Burnley City comes to 33, because I probably want to try and play through and wild card in like 34 or 35, ideally. I might get to 31 and decide 32. I can wild card in 32 with 4 or 5 transfers and use the 4 or 5 transfers to do the switch. If that makes sense. But I'm going to wild card either to set up the bench boost to then use the transfers to get out of it, or I'm going to have the transfers to set up the bench boost to then wildcard out of it, is the general plan.
So actually, and this is partly because
of free
you don't have a free hit to take in 34.
Yes, yeah. So I'm loosely looking at bench boost 33, wildcard 34, triple captain somewhere. So I'm having half an eye on teams who are more likely to double in game week 33. So I'm not going to buy Dubravka, I already have him, but like Burnley might double. And if they do, that bench boost looks really good, then I'll fall into that, and that'll look really good. So I think he's not one I need to move on. Mark Guiu's not any use to me. So actually, the moves I was getting was try and get Mark Guiu up to Bowen and get like a full playing 15. So if I do Guiu up to Bowen, I can do that straight away. But actually, if I sold Foden down to, let's say, like an Ismail Assar, could be Ndiaye, could be someone like that. Assar's obviously got the blank in 31, but I think I should have enough transfers to get through to that point, or maybe move him on to Tavernier at some point. And then that gives me some money to do Mukiele to Senesi and Alderete to Anderson.
Wow, you're going shopping this week.
I've also got enough to do Chalobah instead of Senesi. So I don't know if I'm going to do all of these moves. And I might try and look at like how can I split them over the next 2 weeks, just to like go, okay, I don't need to commit to all of them. But I might use all 5 transfers this week.
This looks great.
But that team of 15 players, if I actually just start flicking through, like if you look at my bench, my first bench next week would be, well, it might be Bowen, might not be. Bowen at home to Man United, Thiago at home to Arsenal, both very good. Game week 27 would be like Anderson at home to Liverpool, Thiago at home to Brighton, Szoboszlai away to Forest. The week after is like Lacroix, Bowen, that's a bit weaker. But might use a transfer by then because I'd have 3 or 4 at this point. And then I've got Thiago away at Bournemouth, Bowen away at Fulham. You know, like, well, I mean, these are potentially bench boostable if I decide that I do want to do that. If we get through a few rounds of the cup by this point and it looks like double game week 33 is going to be a bit of a dud, or is going to be tricky to bench boost, like it's going to be some weird teams that I don't really want to buy into, I might try and bench boost early to give myself more flexibility later. But mostly what this does is it shows that if I have a player who's missing for 2 games, my first bench and second bench are pretty good most weeks. So I will have to put up with the fact that like I'm probably going to bench a lot of points because I'm going to have benching decisions every week. But it sets me up quite nicely to get to 30, 31 with like 5 transfers. Rather than just saying like, oh, I I'm going to roll to 5 transfers, which people, can. I'm not saying that they won't roll to 5 transfers, but it's easier to say it than to do it. Whereas I think
They
this
won't.
team looks like a team that I could forget about for 4 or 5 weeks. So I don't know if that's exactly where I'll go. And I think Bowen looks nice, I think, as a nice differential too. Saar is someone who could be Ndiaye, who could be someone else. There's a few options there. Could be Enzo. Chalobah could be Senesi, could be, I guess, Collins if he's fully fit now. I think Joachim Andersen is probably one I'm going to buy. I think he stands out enough amongst the players and also has a really nice game week 31 and a reasonable chance at double game week 33. Fulham and Villa, they keep progressing, are both still in the cup. So that's the plan, is to make this sort of bench boostable squad, never bench boost it, and roll for a while. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know how many of these I'll do. Don't know how excited I'll get. But yeah, could be all 5. Could be a splurge.
That's great.
Could be, and then log out. see you in April.
We'll just talk about your benching dilemmas from here on until game week 30.
So we'll see. I think that's what I quite like doing with the Saka and Foden money, is to build this squad that's going to let me best play through 31 and hit double game week 33. Because then if I get to game week 32 with 3 to 5 transfers, I can hit a double game week 33 almost as well as a wild card I can.
Wild card.
Hopefully. Maybe like slightly worse, but I mean, they'll have more chips. And then I can wild card in 34 and that'll deal with the blank. I can bench a couple of blankers for 36 if I need to. That's the rough plan. But we'll see. I think a lot of these players as well are guys who should be just churning out lots of minutes. Like Bowen, West Ham haven't got anything else. Bowen's going to play all the time. And Elliot Anderson's going to play all the time. Bruno Fernandes is going to play all the time. I don't really have these generic minutes risks. So as well as it being a 15-man squad, it's also a 15-man squad of really nailed players. That's, of course, until Haaland gets dropped and Marmoush starts playing and so on. And famous last words.
You can take a hit next week for Haaland, no
famous
worries.
last words. Yeah. Or a wild card, or I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I think Captain Bruno.
Excellent. No, that was great, actually, just to hear your plans for the future. And hopefully that helped other people who have played their free hit or want to do something different. But that team with 5 transfers looks great. This is why you save transfers, folks. Something I'm never able to do. Because when you need it for a Saka type injury, you can just spread it and grab that value.
I've never used 5 at once. But because normally it's like, I'll just sit on 5, 3, 4, 5, so on. Try and stay above 3. But maybe 5 at once. I saw one manager I was playing against had 5 transfers and used 6 last week, who took a hit from 5 transfers, which was, wow.
I thought where you were going with this was what I did last year.
No. What did you do?
Do you know this story? I had 5 going into game week 26. I used all 5 because I wanted Bruno and other things, and there were injuries. And it was a quiet week. Like, there was no midweek games. And so I was going on holiday with friends, and I used them on a Wednesday. When I'm in Dubai, they announce the Liverpool provisional.
Yes, I remember now.
And so I'm sitting there going, shit, I have triple Liverpool, and I don't have a transfer, or I don't have money to even get Moyes. I can't even get Moyes. So I end up taking a hit, selling Gakpo for Ndiaye, buying Slot. So I did take a hit with 5 free transfers.
Yeah. But that wasn't planned. I think my mini league rival was like, you just used 5 on his players.
Yeah.
Straight off. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well, yes. So I haven't done them all yet. Hopefully there's no random double game week announcement for something else that comes between me using all the transfers and something happening. But we'll see. I think that's the outlook. We're not going to get double game week for Chelsea in 2 weeks' time out with the blue. Don't know. We
won't. Out of the blue. No pun intended. Excellent. Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us again. It's a shorter deadline. Don't forget, it's Friday. Yep. Don't forget yourself, but don't tell your mini league rivals. Let's just keep it under wraps.
The way we're going?
It's sort of gone under. Like, I didn't know it's a Friday deadline until this morning. Okay. So let's just keep it down low.
And then we need all the incremental Tuesday again. That'll catch people
Yeah,
out.
we're not. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
But
make your
yes,
moves, enjoy your points. Hopefully, no more spanners in the press conferences.
keep quiet.
Keep quiet about all of this. Just make your gains. Just make your gains. And please like the video if you liked this. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. We are so happy with the growth of the channel. So thank you very much for those of you who comment on the video, who like the video. And of course, check out fpl.solioanalytics.com.
Yes, come on, have a go. And best of luck for next week. Bye, guys.
See you guys.